Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
Of course, the New York Times issued a statement blasting me for, quote, active and effectively avoiding independent journalists. Hey, if that's what it takes to get the New York Times to say I'm active and effective, I'm for it.
Hi.
Hello.
Good morning. It's the Stephanie Miller Show. It is 6 minutes after the hour. I'm Jody Hamilton sitting in for Ms. Miller, who just got back from a resounding hit in Philadelphia.
That was great.
With JoJo from Jurors
Yep.
and Lindy Lee and Glenn Kirshner and all the rest of the sexy liberals. So Chris and I are here holding down the fort. She will be here tomorrow.
Yep.
Don't freak out.
We'll see if she pops in today because she is upstairs.
But the light's not on.
Yeah. No, I mean, we have 3 hours.
We
so.
do. She might pop down.
We'll see.
She just might. So that was President Biden at the White House Correspondents' Dinner over the weekend. Ms. Miller will get a lot more of the juicy nuggets that happened for tomorrow, but he was very funny.
Yeah.
And he actually, let's do 11 because it's funny.
Okay.
I have higher standards. I do interviews with strong, independent journalists who millions of people actually listen to, like Howard Stern.
That was a brilliant interview.
It really was. I mean, and Howard could not have been more gracious, by the way, considering where we all know he came from.
Well, yeah, but I think he proved himself with his Hillary Clinton interview.
He did. And he was just flabbergasted that the president was sitting with him.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing interview. But before we get to that.
Oh, he is one of the best interviewers in the business.
He really is good. He started out as a shock jock, and he's become this really amazing interviewer.
Yep. And we're proud to be his coworkers on Sirius XM.
On Sirius XM. Hi, Howard. You want to be on our show?
He has said that he loves Stephanie Miller. So,
Well, I'll see what I can do.
yeah.
Come on, Howard. You interviewed my sister. You looked up at her and said, oh, she's pretty.
Yeah.
And, he wanted to give her grief. And you know who's not adorable?
Who? Kristi Noem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She lost Cat Turd.
Who's Cat Turd?
He is a big right-wing troll.
Okay.
Or she. I don't know. I assume it's a dude just
Okay.
because of how the person tweets on the Twitter. Cat Turd said, there's nothing you can say to justify shooting an 18-month-old puppy and in the face and killing it. Nothing. I don't give anything what it did.
Yep.
And then Cat Turd said, now my blood is boiling. Remember, I'm a country boy who lives on a ranch. There's a huge difference between putting an old horse down who's suffering than shooting an 18-month-old dog for being untrainable. Right. But then plug in your book to the end. Seriously, it's just me. I have no words. Because she said, we love animals, but tough decisions like this happen all the time on a farm. And sadly, we just had to put down 3 horses a few weeks ago that had been in our family for 25 years. Okay, not the same. Not the same.
Okay.
I have a word or two.
You and I are both city folk, so we have no connections to farms whatsoever.
Still.
So I know. I would like to hear from some of our listeners who may live on farms or grew up on farms.
Travis, call in.
Who know farm life. Is this sort of thing normal, like Kristi Noem said?
No.
I want to hear an avalanche of people, of actual people who have lived on farms who say this is not normal. Because Kristi Noem says this is normal, and
not.
I don't believe her. I would like confirmation of that.
She said, and I quote, I hated that dog. 14-month-old, not 18-month-old, wire hair pointer. She said, dangerous to anyone she came in contact with and less than worthless as a hunting dog. So she wanted this dog to be a hunter. Okay? So she wanted the dog to be a killer, just so you alls know. So she put an electronic collar on her, and one day the dog escaped her truck as she stopped to talk to a local family, and the dog went after the chickens because she wanted it to be a hunting dog.
Right.
Therefore, dog went after chickens because that's a pointer. They will do that. And grabbed a chicken, killed it, grabbed another, killed it, and was having, and she said, quote, the time of her life. So I had to kill her because she was having the time of her life.
And apparently, according to South Dakota law, it is legal to kill a dog who is killing livestock.
She retrieved her gun and took her to a gravel pit. She said, quote, it was not a pleasant job, but it had to be done. And after it was over, I realized another unpleasant job had to be done. So she took a goat who they had yet to castrate, who was mean. So get him fixed.
Sure.
So she took him also to said gravel pit and shot him. And there were construction workers watching it. And they were freaked out. And her daughter just got dropped off right after this incident, like at the school bus, which is not far from said gravel pit. And she said, hey, where's Cricket? I hope Kennedy, her daughter's name is Kennedy, naturally, has disowned you after really knowing now what the real story is, because I doubt that her mother told her what the real story was at that moment. There were so many other options that this woman had 20 years ago. This was only 20 years ago. It wasn't in the 1950s.
Right. But, this isn't Old Yeller.
It's not Old Yeller. The dog didn't have rabies.
Right.
There was not an issue.
There was no suffering.
There was no suffering going on.
Except for the chickens.
Well, the chicken. Keep the dog in the truck. How did it get out of the truck? That's not on the dog. That's on her. The dog was being a dog. The dog did dog stuff. Okay. Point in fact, Steve Austin attacked Stephanie's neighbor's dogs. Stephanie didn't shoot him.
No.
No.
She rehomed him.
She rehomed him. That's what you do. Worst case scenario, take him to the shelter. That's the worst case for the dog, as far as I'm concerned.
Since it was 20 years ago, put out an ad in the paper and say,
keep him locked in your barn or wherever. Feed him. Keep him away from chickens and people. If he doesn't get along with people, that's fine. I get that.
Right.
It's
on the owner if they don't train the dog well.
Thank you. 14 months old is a puppy.
Yeah.
It is not a grown dog, and she wanted it to be a hunter, so she was training it to hunt. The chickens, too bad for the chickens. That's sad, but it's her fault that the dog got out of the truck, not the dog's fault that the dog went after the chickens. The dog was dogging.
Right.
And so, Cat Turd literally, when you've lost Cat Turd, kid, you've lost it, because Cat Turd is one of the biggest right-wing trolls out there.
Okay.
And it's Bruce Wilson tweeted, MAGA, Cat Turd, liberals, and leftists are united in revulsion. Say what you want about Kristi Noem, but look at how she's brought us together.
Yeah.
Literally, it's she's trying to do a lot of cleanup on this.
Not successfully.
No. People are on CNN this morning were figuring that it was an appeal to Donald Trump, but apparently his team is going, because it doesn't look good.
Right.
It just doesn't. The story was out there, and she's been a governor for 6 years now? I think it's about 6 years. If it was going to come out, it would have come out when she was running for the governorship, if people really wanted to bring her down on that. But the fact that she admits to this and says, I hated that dog, instead of I couldn't help it, or I had there was an issue. She literally says she hated the dog. So it doesn't say she's a good person by any, it says she's kind of psychopathic.
Well, yeah, and her cleanup is trying to say that she's capable of making tough decisions. This was not a tough decision. This was a bad decision.
Right. It wasn't a tough decision because it didn't take her that long.
Right.
It wasn't like a week
long. She made
long.
the wrong decision. This is an example of her making wrong decisions.
Exactly. I agree completely. And she, oh, you have to make tough decisions. Well, it didn't seem that tough because you went and got your gun in what sounds like less than a minute.
That's sociopathic behavior.
That's not a tough decision.
Right.
That's a decision that you make because you want to kill two living beings that are just living.
Right.
And one, that he was a mean goat. Well, are goats supposed to be nice? They are. But if
my cat Jazz was a bit of a bastard. But
yeah, a lot of cats are like that. They're bastard people. Some of them, and so it's like.
But I loved him.
Yeah,
he was a great cat. He just was a bastard.
Well, one of my dogs, Tucker, he did not like certain people, and so I had to keep him locked up if people were coming over. That was on me to keep them safe, not on him.
Right.
He was keeping me safe.
Right.
He was an ankle biter.
Okay. Yeah, Jazz was an ankle biter too.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was just like, it's on me to make sure that other people are safe around him. And if he got aggro around somebody, he went into the bedroom and I locked him in there.
Yeah.
And that was how it went. Yeah. And same with Shadow, our other dog. She wasn't good around other dogs. So it was like, okay, boom, you go. It's on me.
Yeah.
Not on the dogs. Dogs are going to dog.
Yeah.
Well trained or not.
Yeah.
And Steve Austin was great with people. He really was. Yeah. He just didn't like other dogs, which is why
he was protective of his owner.
Exactly. He got along with Jamie because he came in after Jamie.
Yeah.
Then when she got the puppy, that didn't work out well, unfortunately. So she had to rehome the other puppy, and then unfortunately she couldn't keep Steve. She didn't shoot him in a gravel pit with a goat that wasn't castrated. And by the way, if the goat wasn't castrated, wasn't that on her family to do that to that poor goat? unless they were going to breed him. And then, honestly,
These are not tough decisions. They're
no,
bad decisions.
they were bad and cruel.
Yeah.
I'm going to just go with cruel. She's a cruel. She's pretty, but she's cruel. And I hope South Dakota wises up the next election and gets rid of her.
South Dakota's going to South Dakota, though.
I don't know. A lot of South Dakotans are mad.
Yes.
Republicans and Democrats are kind of united on this.
Yeah, we'll see how But, national pundits don't matter in this sort of thing. It's
That's
South
true.
Dakota.
I know. I should start looking up what's going on
South
in South
Dakota's
Dakota.
going to South Dakota.
They are. It's a beautiful state. I've been there.
Yeah.
But GPS not good, and maps on your phone not good. Trust me, I needed a paper map. Got made fun of for it. Happy we had it once we had to get somewhere in the middle of the night. Just saying, old lady over here prints everything. See.
Or you download the entire map of South Dakota to your phone before you go, because then it can.
And then you have to take a picture of it and then you got to zoom in on it.
No. If you download it to your phone, it can use the GPS inside your phone using the downloaded map.
If the GPS works.
Well, it does.
Didn't on my phone when we were there.
Okay.
GPS wasn't working.
Well, with the new Apple Maps, you can download an entire area that you know is not going to have cell phone coverage.
But then you have to, whatever.
No, you don't. No, it'll follow you.
That doesn't seem right if the GPS isn't working.
It does.
Have you been to a place without GPS? And
I have.
used
I've
it?
driven Angeles Crest Highway.
Yeah, but the GPS is up there.
Nope.
I've done it.
Nope.
My phone never went out up there.
You are invited to Stephanie Miller's Sexy Liberal Save the World Tour. It's the political comedy event of the year, and it's coming to a city near you. Join Stephanie Miller, the queen of progressive talk radio, along with Hal Sparks, John Fugelsang, and the comedy duo Frangela, mocking all the fascists and trolls for a tour that is hilarious, inspiring, and deeply offensive to just the right people. It's an all-new tour with all new guests and a side-splitting evening of stand-up. Stephanie Miller's Sexy Liberal Save the World Tour.